Welcome to Soulscapes. Today I have many questions running in my mind. Many questions all related to the art world, to all related to artists, all related to um, art lovers, just art. And the curiosity begins with trying to understand what is on the other side of the canvas. The canvas talks about the artist, the canvas talks about um, an emotion, a journey of a soul, just something that hits a person at the core. But it's all concentrated around the message and the messenger. But my curiosity has led to ask these questions to myself. What's on the other side of the canvas? About the viewer, about about the gallerist, about the art curators, about the art lovers, about just the people who are connected to the art world. What do they think? What do they look out for? How does an artwork interest them? How does an artist interest them? All these questions were plaguing in my mind. So no, today I am not speaking about any painting of mine or um, the meaning behind it, the inspiration, the technique, none of that. Today it's all about the journey of an artwork through the eyes of an artist. This is my story. I always say that I'm a soulscape artist. I introduce myself as a soulscape artist. Let me reintroduce myself again. I am Sidrah Hakim. I am a soulscape artist. I've been an artist for a little over 30 years, 31 years now. And I will walk with me on my journey of what began and what is at the moment. I began at the age of 16, 1993. I was really young. I loved art. I loved the art classes. I loved painting. I loved anything to do with colors right from the time that I was a child. So even in nursery and kindergarten and in the formative years of my schooling, the art classes would just brighten me up. I had no idea. And I still remember when I would paint, play with colors, paint, or when I understood that, okay, I can, besides playing with the color, create a form, structure, something that talks of a story. And that was when I was really young, maybe 8, 9 years old. We had watercolors in school, and I would paint. I would have a standard memory in my head that I would bring out on the piece of paper: mountains, river, small hut somewhere, and just trees and flowers and things like that. They were rough, they were like really childlike, but this is what was at the core. And this has stayed with me till date. But as a child, of course, I continued. I was really good with my education as well. And coming from a background where the society requires the child to focus more on education, I come from that background. So I was the pride and joy of my family, excellent in mathematics and physics. Other subjects, okay. I would, I wasn't bad, but I was brilliant in mathematics and physics. Anyway, the journey began and I did well in school, and neighbors, parents, everyone is like really proud. I am proud because everybody is proud of me. So that became my conditioning, that this is my path, this is my future, this is my life, this is why I am here. And I believe that, and I walked that journey. But somewhere when I was a teenager, 16, 1993, I was, yeah, 16. And I continued with, I never stopped painting. Anything that I see, anything that I saw, I would just sketch, paint, or whatever. I did that. And then when I was in 1993, I said, no, I want to do this. I just want to do this. So I found a teacher, a very senior teacher, who was who was who had a small shed. I wouldn't even say he had an art class or an art school or anything. He was just an old man who was an artist for his whole life, I suppose. Man of few words, very short in stature, very, he's just, if you see him, it's like I felt if I blow him, he'll fall down. He was that kind of a person. And he had this small shed, and the shed was just 2 minutes across my college. And I said, wow, this is perfect. So I will go early in the morning, the first batch, 6 a.m., and I will enroll myself and go for my art classes. It was thrice a week. So I will go every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will do my art classes. Although the classes were for 2 hours, I said I will do it for 1.5 hours and leave just in time so that I can attend the first lecture of the college. The first lectures were always, I was doing science. So the first lectures were, we had practicals. I had to be in the lab. That's fine. So I did that. And my journey began sketching and understanding forms and structures and just sketching some more. And I would beg him, when can I paint? When can I paint? No, 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 you can sketch, understand a little bit, not yet, little bit more, not yet, little bit more. Anyway, I said, what have I got to lose? I have to attend my college anyway because that's my life. So I can, till as long as I am here at point B, I can go to point A. It's a no brainer. That continued 1993, 1994, 1995. I think I was relentless when I used to beg him, can I paint? Can I paint? And this was, I was learning to paint in oils. I bypassed the watercolor, the acrylics, pastels. I bypassed it all. I said, wow, I'm going to jump directly and get a master's degree in life. Fine. He was a good man and he was a good soul. So he said, okay, let's start. And he gave me the simplest of things. He said, we will start with what do you have in mind? I said, I have nothing in mind. But and he had so many books. He had the biggest library of the greatest artists. I'm collecting those books now. But he had the greatest collection. So every time, when if I didn't feel like sketching, but I wanted to be in the class, I would read the book. He had a whole shelf of Reader's Digest. In those days, there was no internet, artificial intelligence, nothing. There was nothing. You'd read the newspaper or you read a magazine. And the most informative magazine was Reader's Digest for me. Keep reading it. And then when we had this, I wouldn't even call it a discussion. It was just one sentence. What do you want to paint? So I showed him something. I to my memory, I think it was a landscape of John Constable. And I said, I love this because it has mountains. It had his landscape. If you see John Constable, you'll know what I'm talking about. So he had all the elements that I would paint from the time that I was a little kid. Fine, we'll do that. And we did that. So my first painting, The Barn, I painted in 1995. But in my mind, I knew yes, I love mountains, and probably it's a memory from my past life. So everything I do, everything I connect with, I have mountains in my head somehow or the other. But I did not confine myself to mountains. First painting, second painting, I painted a seascape. Third painting, I think I painted another landscape. Fourth painting, it just went on. 1997, when Princess Diana died, that shook my world. I plummeted down, so I painted a rose, dedicated it. I call it peace. I dedicated it to Princess Diana and Mahatma Gandhi because I painted it when she died, and I finished the painting on the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi. I didn't remember that. The painting is still with me, and when I looked at the back, it had my name and the date. So I would write everything in pencil at the back of the canvas. I was, wow. Anyway, the journey continued, and life goes on. I finished the education. I did what was expected of me, went on to get my degree, my master's degree. So everybody's happy. And somewhere in 1998, I just stopped painting because some things happened in life which changed the entire trajectory of my life, and which is fine because it's the normal progression of life when you're in your early 20s. In my generation at least, it's either you are really career oriented or you just get married and live life. I was in category 2. I did get married, and life took on a different trajectory. Life took off to the mundane routine. I got married, and the regular. I, I won't say it as a regular. It's just the progression. You get married, you have children. Children take up the entire real estate. I wouldn't say of your mind, but they take the real estate of your mind, body, and soul. That's it. Game over. So that happened, and I was really into my children. I still am. They mean the world to me, but it's a lot of I chose to dedicate my entire energy towards their well-being. I would put it that way. And somewhere in between, I have also put it in my about page. I don't talk about it much. I don't like to talk about it much, but my journey with for some reason, I there are reasons, but from the time of 2001, in sometime in September, October, till 2022, I was in and out of hospitals. I had a lot of issues with my health. The first health issue was in 2001, September, October, and that was morbid. It's surprising, even the doctor, he was a neurosurgeon, and after it was a it was a very trying and a testing time. And even the doctor was not confident that I will come out on the other side. He really predicted that, okay, this is bye bye time for her. But he did the best that he could, and it was, I think, out of my sheer willpower that I survived that, I would say. So at the end of day 13, he looked at me saying, wow, I see you're smiling. I see you're making an effort to drink some juice. I really thought you're not going to make it. And I looked at him. I said, huh? What? I had the Steven Johnson syndrome. So that was crazy. I was pumped with steroids for 13 days and 13 nights, intravenous through the IV, just pump the heartbeat so that it keeps beating, 140 plus, 150 plus. That's how it had to be. So I was steroids non-stop. Every 2 hours, I was given steroids intravenous. And not for a sec. It was a lot of pain. It's a very painful condition to be in. And no painkillers, because the painkillers um, would not react very well with the steroids. So I had to feel the pain 24/7. And when you are on steroids, with so much steroids, you don't sleep. You are awake 24 hours. There is no such thing as sleep. You are hyper, you're just, at least I was. And I was around, I was awake, feeling it all, feeling the pain. But not for a second did I think, "Wow, this is the end." I just thought it's like, okay, maybe this is just a regular thing. So many people must be going through this. It's like having a cold or a flu. That's how positive I was. And that's how positive I was as a child at that time, today as well. The craziest chaos or crisis can come my way, and I'll be really calm and positive about this. It's a nervous system thing, but it is what it is. Anyway, I got through that, and then the sequence of health issues continued. We are talking 21 years, I would say. But throughout the entire time, despite uh, despite following the path of life, motherhood, being being a good daughter, being a good daughter in my country is comes with a lot of expectations. Being the good wife, that comes with double the expectations. And being a good mother, that comes with you're never good enough expectations. So the cycle continued, and which was fine. I was good at everything. I did the best that I could, despite going through the parallel track, you know, the train track. One is the regular life, the one is battling your health issues all the time. That was a that was difficult, but it was what it was. It is what it is. One thing that kept me going throughout this entire phase is that I never stopped painting. I have no idea why. I would just paint. And me painting, I was never looked upon as an artist, not once. It's always, it's a hobby. That's how it is looked upon most of the times, really. So even as a child, through the teenage, when I did go for the classes, she is paying for a hobby, and it's a positive hobby. So let her go for it. Later on in life, it doesn't cost much. She's just asking for a little. She's not even asking for a studio or anything like that. Just this much of the entire budget goes in buying a canvas and oil and everything, which anyway she makes use of it for over 2 years. So it's good, and it keeps her happy. She's occupied, and it's a good hobby. So the hobby continued non-stop until today. So I was always looked upon as a hobbyist, as a hobby artist. This is her hobby. This is not her. This is this is not her. It's not even her job, profession. She doesn't monetize it. She doesn't make money out of it. She just paints it, makes her feel happy. And we, when it's done, we pack up frame, pack up the paintings, and we keep them aside. That was the routine, and I thought it's a good routine too because I believed that within myself. I believed that I have a hobby, a positive hobby. I believed that I am a hobbyist. I believed that this hobby is meant to be, you know, just packed and kept aside. For I had no idea what I was going to do with my paintings. I didn't even think so ahead in my life. One day I will have an exhibition, or when I'm gone, they'll be thrown away. I It's too much thinking. It's too much thinking. So just do what you can in that moment. I painted when I have a thirst for knowledge. So during COVID, when there was a lockdown, I had health issues too, but I created a channel on art, the history of art. And I knew that the art out there in the world somehow speaks stories of the human evolution, the stories of the human soul, and connect it with higher consciousness. I had no idea how, what, where, when, but I just said, okay, we will do it. I will speak what I can to the best of my ability because I love everything connected to art. I did that, but that I had to put that work aside. Health issues once again, they continued for they were severe in during COVID 2021, 2022 as well. I think the final surgery I had was in December of 2023. That was that was the final one. And after that, thank you for just leaving me alone for a while. I honestly thank whoever is out there. But yeah, I painted, and at the same time, 2022, 2023, there was a big transition happening. I We as a family had to make certain decisions, and it shifted me from my country to where I am today. I'm in Germany today. All a mother does anything for her child. So I will speak about my child and his journey in some other video. But yes, I made the big move. The move was to just be here because it was one parent was needed to be here, and that changed my perspective, my thinking. I don't know. I was just put, I think, in a situation guided from above because I don't remember how it all began or why it began. But one thing led to the other, to the other, to the other. And I started thinking differently about myself. I met a coach, I met a mentor, a coach. I took courses. So my coach told me, you are an artist, but what kind of an artist? And I looked everywhere but into the eyes of my coach, and I asked him genuinely, what do you mean by that question? He said, you are an artist, you have to be known. You are going to be labeled as this kind of an artist for the rest of your life. Even after you're gone, you will be known as that. So think, and to think about the kind of an artist you are, you have to really connect with your why. Why are you an artist? And normally, as a person, I'm a blunt person. I I am blunt. I say things to the face. I say things as I see them. I say things. I speak the truth as it is suspended in time, not my point of view or the external point of view. I am known for it, and that's who I am. So I looked at him and I said, I am not an artist. So he said, when you were a child, when someone asked you, would you tell them that when I grow up, I want to be an artist? I said, not once. Expectations were different, and I never thought of that art leads to artist. That wasn't even in anywhere in my energetic field. I said, but I did explain. I said, listen, when you ask someone, what do you want to be when you grow up? Normally it is saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to become that, because you are not that at that moment, but you perceive that on the timeline in the future, because it is not in your reality at the moment. I said, I gave an example of a tree. I said, when you ask a tree, when you grow up, what do you want to be? The tree is not going to say, I want to become a tree. The tree might say, I want to become a butterfly, um, I want to become the sky, I want to become the clouds. Because the tree is not the cloud. The tree aspires to become the cloud, the butterfly, because it is not. The tree never, this was my explanation. This is my logic. I am wired different. Be patient. So I was trying to explain to the best of my ability that, what you are, you will never say that when I grow up, I want to be that. A tree is a tree. It knows it's a tree. It's going to grow up as a tree. It's going to, whenever it is gone, it will go as a tree. So the tree does not from the core say that I want to be a tree. Yes, maybe in that realm, in the realm of nature and animals and all, it's a different thing. But I use this as an explanation. So I said, so as maybe my soul, my core, or whatever it is, knew that I am an artist at the core, at my soul level. So I never thought that when I grow up, I'm going to be an artist, because it's already existent. So here I am, an artist. He said, well, that's not a good enough why in the art world. And I said, what do you mean by that? He's saying, in the art world, you have to have a story. You have to have usually something hits that ignites a quality within a human being that is identified, that the human expresses and is identified by whoever it is that identifies it. So you need to have, your why needs to have something that triggered it. I said, damn, I don't know where to start. He said, yes, it's not an easy job. Find out what your why is. Go back, replay each and everything. This is why the why is the most important thing, and this is why your why is going to either make you or break you. Usually it's not break you in the art world. When the why is honestly expressed, it always makes an artist. If not, like in the grand world, personally, it's a win-win for the artist. So I did all this soul searching, and I said, I feel I'm a soulscape artist. Why? Because everything that I have painted till now, right from the time that I'm a child till date, I paint journeys of the human soul. I paint emotions of the human soul. I paint everything: trauma, laughter, joy, movies, inspiration. I can paint anything. I don't have a genre. I'm not confined to, nor am I conformed to abstract and seascapes, landscape. I paint anything that comes in my mind. I paint it. That comes within me. It's out on the canvas. That's that's just who I am. At the end of it, I also think outside the box. I cannot fit in a box. About life lessons, about journeys of the human soul. I see things from a different point, from a different perspective. I analyze it completely outside the box. I'm very high on empathy, or so I'm told. Despite being a very blunt and an honest person, I am very high on empathy. I pick up on energy like this. I just pick up on, I can read a room before I enter the room. I can read nonsense before it's even out of a person, body language and energetic field and all that. But it's okay. I've been here for 5 decades. I keep it to myself most of the times. But when it comes to this art world, this why, this human emotion, this human journey, and I put it very simply that a, I am nothing but a storyteller, and my medium of telling my stories is through my art, through the canvas, through my paintbrush. But they are stories at the end of the day. That's what I do, and that's the why, and that's the how. No problem. I mean, I went through this entire soul digging up the soul journey, and dark night of the shadow and reflect and things like that. Not my coach. He just put the assignment in front of me, but I did the work, and I so fine. Soulscape artist is perfect, and thus began my journey as a soulscape artist 2 years ago. And it was 2 years ago. By that time, I was 29 years with the canvas, with the painting, with my hobby. And at that time, situations led me to do a few, I don't know, it was just, I think the divine led me through this very narrow alley, navigated, guided, pushed me, kicked me from the back. And one thing led to the other, one thing led to the other. And I somehow, without knowing, I entered the art world. I started networking, and I'm not the best person at networking. Normally, people who are blunt are not the best people to at networking, I would say. But I started networking. I connected with so many people through platforms that were just labels to me. LinkedIn is a label, Instagram is a label. Yes, I had these accounts, but I was never into it, never into social media. I come from a generation where we wrote down everything. Networking was meeting a person face to face. You know, I come from that generation where where we didn't even have cellular phones or internet. We had that telephone which you dial and it goes back. So you wait like 10 seconds until if you dial zero, it takes 10 seconds to come back. So that's the generation I've come from. So I never paid attention to any of the social media, but I got onto it, and one thing led to the other, to the other, to the other. I have no idea how. I don't know. The universe has a way. I was approached for interviews, which was a new for me. What is this interviews? Why do you want to know about? But it's a world out there. It's necessary, and it exists. So what are you running away from it for? Give the interviews. I gave the interviews. One, two, three, four. First award. Just try it. Not necessary you will win it, but try it. How do you know? How do you know in that world what would your rating be? I said, to me, I like, it's the ego. It kicks the ego, right? My art is the best to me. What do you mean? I've been painting for 29 years. Why? Who is to question if my art is good or bad? Put it out there. Yes, your art is the best. You are your biggest fan. Every artist is their own biggest fan. Anyway, enter the competition. I won the first one, the Luxembourg Art Award in 2024. Wow. How is this even possible? Like, really? Yes. Second, third, they are right behind me. One, two, three, four. It just kept on. How did I said, and I would ask, where did you find me from? How is this possible? No, somebody has nominated you. And we looked at your work, we studied your work, and we went through the entire thing. And yes, this is it. And I said, wow, I couldn't imagine at all as a hobbyist that there is a world out there, the art world, who pay attention. It has taken me 3 decades of my life, 30 years, 31 years now. When I started 2 years ago, 29 years. 29 years is a long time. Is a long time. People become old. I became old living 29 years and doing something without any belief in it, or I don't know, it was just there was no connection to it. I was totally disconnected from the expectations of what I was doing. I was just doing it before because I just loved it. That's all it was. Emotion was so pure and innocent from the childhood till today. I still paint because I love to paint. I have been criticized for my art. Let me say, it's not that even when I was as a hobbyist, I had so much criticism. Doesn't matter. I would say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I'll try." So every time I thought, okay, let me try something different and the brush, and I would go and then, the soul says, it would go and the mountain would come. It would always be the mountains. I said, why are you fighting the soul? Let the soul, there is no expectation to this. So just you're free to do to produce what you want to. And you're just telling stories. I realize that now, that I was just painting stories of the human soul, of the human journey, the human suffering, the human contemplation, the human enlightenment, the human uh, joys, happiness, everything. I was just putting it on colors. So I have all this inventory, I would call it, as per the art world, of paintings just sitting. Some are here with me, and most of them are back home, just packed. I hope they are, I don't know, they are in a warehouse, just packed and kept in a warehouse. I don't know the condition of it. I really don't know. I just hope they are fine and they are good. When I can possibly have the opportunity to go and have a look at it, I will do a quality check on it. But this was the journey of the artist who entered a world, the art world, without any without any expectation. But the response was overwhelming to the artist, because there is a world out there that is watching, and sometimes it takes a very strong, heavy hand from above. It may take years and decades, like it did for me, but for sure somebody has a major plan above, and that hand is a very strong and a heavy hand which is guiding this path, this journey, navigating the artist, navigating the art world. No idea, no idea where it's going to go or what it's meant for. Just follow the path. That's how, that is exactly where I am today, as the artist, with her art, with her canvas, connected to the art world without any idea how it happened. So just grateful for it, I suppose. And let's see where this journey takes me. Thank you for listening to my story, the why. The most difficult thing for an artist is to find out the why. And I would like to know what is your understanding of the why, honestly, for whatever you're doing in your life. Who knows, I might paint that journey one day. I do that. I see things, I understand, I feel a story, I feel it. I genuinely feel it. I feel the story, I feel that emotion, I feel it so strongly, and I just paint it. So, never know. I pick up on energy really, really fast, and I pick it up very clearly. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll paint somebody's story. So, thank you really for listening to this 3 decade journey of mine. And let's see which painting I speak about next.